Hi, my name's Tom from the First Aid Training Co-operative, and in this video we're going to show you how to bandage a casualty who is significantly bleeding. What we're going to use for these bandaging exercises is some wound dressings. Wound dressings commonly come in packs like this, and they're a variety of different sizes. This one here is a medium. Importantly, with any bandage, make sure you check that it's still within its expiry date so that it's still sterile. We've got some that we've opened up already. I've already got my gloves on because there's an obvious cross-contamination issue with dealing with somebody else's blood. And what we're going to use is our acronym CARE to treat a significant bleed. So the first letter of that is C, and that stands for clean and check. So to clean and check an injury, what I'm going to use in this case is any water that I would happily drink, any clean water, and I'm going to give the injury, say it's on his arm here, I'm going to give it a really good clean and check for any foreign objects. If there was a foreign object, I would not pull it out, as it would be plugging a hole. I may also need to cut away clothing, so if he was wearing trousers, I might need to cut around so that I could see the injury properly before I clean it and check it. So let's have a shot of doing some bandaging.
Tom, I've cut my arm really badly.
Dear oh dear, Corey. So I'm just going to use a wound dressing here on your arm, Corey. I see you've got your hand over it. Do you think there's anything in it?
Don't think so.
Okay, so I'm going to give that a good clean, make sure there's nothing inside it. And the first thing I'm going to do, Corey, with this wound dressing is I'm going to apply, so A from my acronym CA, apply some pressure. So I'm just going to lay that on. If you take your hand away, please, and then put it back on and keep squeezing that nice and tight. Okay, so we've got control. Corey is applying pressure to his own injury. I'm just going to let this short end of the dressing hang down, and then I'm going to unwrap this end using the bandage there to hold the pad in place. I'm going to keep coming round, working my way up his limb. That's good, Corey, you're doing a fine job there. Trying to keep the bandage nice and wide as best I can. And also trying to cover up both ends of the pad. And what's happened there, I've slightly ran out of bandage there, so I'm just going to tie this up on this end here, trying to close in the pad as much as possible. Careful that the knot doesn't press directly down on the wound, and making sure that it's all nice and neat there. Okay, so there is, I've cleaned, I've applied pressure to the wound. The next thing I'm going to do is raise the wound up. Okay, I need it to be above his heart. And at the moment, while I'm checking it out, that's a good place for it to be, but in the longer term, I probably would just place it up on his shoulder, so it's still above his heart there. The last of my letters in my acronym CARE is E, and that stands for ensure. Now there's three things I want to ensure. I want to ensure that first of all, the bandage isn't going to fall off. So I'm just going to rub my finger up and down and make sure that it's not slipping, it's not moving. The other thing I want to make sure, or ensure, is that it's not too tight. So if I just squeeze a knuckle, or indeed a nail bed, I can check the capillary refill in Corey's hand and make sure that his circulation is maintained. And to really be sure about that, I'm going to compare one hand against his other hand to ensure that they're both the same. Then I know and I'm happy that there's good circulation being maintained in this limb. The last of my checks, I need to ensure that my bandage has worked. So I'm just checking for any bleeding that might still be happening. If indeed it was, I would apply another bandage over the top and go through my checks again. In summary then, to dress a significantly bleeding injury, we're going to clean and check the wound with any water that we'd be happy to drink. We're going to apply pressure using an absorbent pad and some form of bandaging. We're going to raise the limb up above the casualty's heart, and we're going to ensure that it's been effective. By doing that, we're going to make sure that the bandage isn't too loose, isn't too tight, and that it isn't still bleeding.